Hello, I'm Maurice Powell. Welcome to A Little Light Music, Manx Radio's regular Thursday evening light classical music hour. I'm going to start the programme this evening with a very well-known piece of light music, but I don't think I've played it. And it's one of these pieces that's so well known, yet we never actually hear the whole piece because it's been used as a theme tune. And the programme is The Archers, so you know what's coming up. This is Arthur Wood, a maypole dance from his suite by Nature's Heath. Arthur Wood's Maypole Dance. Well, a very well-known tune. That was Arthur Wood, a Maypole Dance from the suite My Native Heath, used, of course, as the theme tune for The Archers. Now, I played a quite substantial piece of Delius last week. I'm going to play a much shorter piece this evening. A couple of weeks ago, I did play the first of two pieces that Delius wrote for unaccompanied chorus to be sung on a summer night on the water. This is the second of those two songs. They're both very, very lovely. He did later arrange them for strings, which is the form that they're probably best known in. But in the original version for voices, they're really a ethereal quality. You may think, as I do, that the tune of this particular piece bears a very strong resemblance to the folk song The Muffin Man. I don't know whether Delius intended that, I've no idea, but there we are. So, Delius, the second of his two songs to be sung on a summer night on the water.
La 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 la
A lovely piece there for unaccompanied chorus and a baritone solo, of course, by Delius from his two songs to be sung on a summer night on the water. And now to another very well-known piece of music. This is the so-called Air on a G-string by Bach. It's the slow movement, basically, from his third orchestral suite, and it's been arranged many, many times for many, many different instruments, and it seems to survive very well, whatever it's played on. I've certainly heard it played on saxophones, brass bands, play it, of course, and all sorts of solo instruments. I have an arrangement here for guitar and orchestra, which I think is quite attractive, not very authentic. So if you're only prepared to listen to Bach in a form that Bach would actually recognise it, then perhaps this is not for you, but it doesn't last very long. So the Air on a G-string for guitar and orchestra by Bach. so-called Air on a G-string by Bach, arranged for guitar, piano and orchestra, and I quite like that. Actually, underneath everything else, the original Bach piece is untouched. It's still there, recognisably, as it is in the suite, the original version of the suite. But I say I quite like it. Maybe it would be ideal background music, perhaps when friends pop round for happy hour or something like that. Anyway, let's move on, or rather move back. This is probably the earliest piece of music I've ever played in this series. And it's by the Flemish composer from the 14th century, Guillaume de Machaut, a poet and a composer, remembered mainly for his sacred music, including several splendid masses. Of course, very early Renaissance music can sound a bit distant, a bit cool to us today, but of course nobody's absolutely certain how it was performed. We very often hear it in a very sparse, unaccompanied choral form, but there's a good deal of evidence to suggest that this early sacred music was accompanied by an array of musical instruments, basically whatever was available, and probably sounded quite different. Nor is anybody absolutely certain the kind of vocal sound that was considered to be appropriate at that time. Some people think it should be absolutely pure and unsullied. Others believe it was sung in a much more rustic style than we're used to today for sacred music. Anyway, enough history. This is a very simple song by Machaut. It's called Danse Dame Jolie. It's a single voice, a simple melody, unaccompanied, deceptively simple, has a hypnotic quality. It's actually quite catchy. I hope you enjoy it. A catchy song there from the 14th century master Guillaume de Machaut. And now to the music of Ravel. I did play a piece of Ravel, I think, in last week's programme, the Pavane for a Dead Princess. I'm going to play now one of my very favourite pieces of Ravel. It's the Adagio Assai, the slow movement from his piano concerto in G major. I love this piece. It starts as a very slow, languid waltz, completely unaccompanied. And gradually you become aware that the orchestra has kind of crept in, a magical moment. As the music progresses, the harmonies begin to clash, but very gently, quite painlessly, until the mood of the opening returns. It's played for us this evening by Marta Argerich. So this is the slow movement from Ravel's Piano Concerto in G major. Enjoy. The fragile beauty of the Adagio Assai from Ravel's Piano Concerto in G major. Dreamy, doesn't begin to describe it, does it? It's very tender, very fragile piece. The whole of the last section there with the cor anglais solo against the sort of the piano filigree patterns is absolutely wonderful. A work well worth exploring, although I have to warn you, the movement that comes after this lovely Adagio Assai, the finale, comes as a bit of a shock. At about 3.5 minutes long, it comes as a great burst of jazzy light, quite unlike the movement we've just heard. So maybe at a later programme. If you've just tuned in, you're listening to me, Maurice Powell, and this is A Little Light Music, and we'll have music by Ravel, Guillaume de Machaut, Bach, Delius, and Arthur Wood, the Archers' theme music. And now on to the music of William Walton. I played a piece from his the suite he arranged for orchestra from Facade, a crazy piece to weird poetry by Edith Sitwell. I'm going to play another short piece now, I think, just to change the mood. This is the polka from Facade. It really is based on an old sort of music hall song, really, called See Me Dance the Polka, by George Grossmith. Now, George Grossmith was a famous singer and a favourite singer of Gilbert and Sullivan, and George and his brother Whedon Grossmith wrote the famous Victorian comic book The Diary of a Nobody. So I don't know why that's important. It probably isn't, but there you go. Little threads which you pull. Perhaps one shouldn't pull little threads. Anyway, the polka from Walton's Facade. Polka from Walton's Facade suite certainly doesn't outstay its welcome. And now to one of the masterpieces of English music. I played one last week, which is of course Delius's English Rhapsody, Brig Fair, but here's another fantastic piece of English music, this time by Vaughan-Williams. You know, I think if Vaughan-Williams had left only this piece and nothing else at all, he would still be regarded, I think, as a great composer. This is the Fantasia for strings, in fact, for a double-string orchestra, really, on a theme by Thomas Tallis, the great Renaissance composer. It's a hymn tune that you'll recognise, and Vaughan-Williams weaves these incredible string textures around this tune. It's a wonderful piece. It's a piece just to sit back, close the eyes, and just let your thoughts drift. Let the music take you where it will. Vaughan-Williams, Fantasia, on a theme by Thomas Tallis. One of the masterpieces of English music for strings, Vaughan-Williams' Fantasia on a Theme by Thomas Tallis. And that brings us very nearly to the end of the programme. Not quite. We've certainly got time for one more piece, something to play us out with and change the mood a little. A composer I don't think has appeared in this series before, Herman Finck. He was the son of a Dutch immigrant musician, and for a while in the 1920s and 30s he was a conductor at the Palace Theatre of Varieties and the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. So he must have conducted a number of the most famous musical shows of that era, Rosemary and things like that. This little piece is called In the Shadows, and he wrote it as a skipping rope routine for the Tiller Girls way back in 1910. I'd love to see this, I've no idea. A rather saucy dancer, I rather think. So, Herman Finck, In the Shadows, will bring our evening to an end. Please join me again next Thursday at 9 for some more light music and not so light music. There'll certainly be something you've never heard before. It could be some things that I've never heard before. I might just discover lurking in my CD collection unnoticed for years. But we'll see. So, happy listening for the rest of the week, and I'll be with you again next Thursday at 9 o'clock. Goodbye.
la.